Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a couple plays on Prizepicks I like for tonight's NBA slate on Monday, February the 6th. We do have an 8-game slate tonight, so it's a decent sized slate. There's already a good amount of props up, right now at the time I'm making this video. A lot of the fantasy score props are up, and you guys know these are some of my favorite props to target. So we got pretty much a full board to talk about. Still waiting on some, guys to get added. Dallas, they're going to be shorthanded today. There's not any props up for Dallas. There's only a few props up for the Nets. They're another team that's going to be shorthanded, but a lot of these teams have, most of their props available. So we're going to talk through two picks. I do like taking a first look at the board right now when I'm recording this video. As always, I will be giving out more plays later this afternoon over on Patreon. So if you guys do enjoy these Prizepicks videos and you want more plays from me, you can check out the Patreon. As always, that is linked down below in the description. But before we do talk through our two plays for today, before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. I always appreciate the likes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you have never checked out Prizepicks before, you can sign up with my promo code NOAH. If you look at the bottom of the screen, when you sign up with promo code NOAH, Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100. So definitely check them out. If you guys have not yet, use that promo code when you sign up, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's go ahead and talk through these two picks I like for Monday. Got a fantasy score prop I like for today, and then I have a points plus assist prop that I like for today. So for fantasy score, I want to talk about Eric Gordon. He's a guy that we've played before, and he's came through for us. And his projection looks a little low to me. 22.5 fantasy score. I do like the over here for Eric Gordon. This is definitely a prop that I think, possibly could get bumped today. I don't know if they will. Prizepicks tends to not bump fantasy scores too much. But if you look like it, his props kind of across the board, especially his PRA. His PRA line sits at 20.5. Rarely do you see a fantasy score and PRA line only have a 2-point difference. Now, Eric Gordon is not a player that's going to get like a ton of steals and blocks. He's going to turn the ball over some. But man, like a 2-point difference between PRA and fantasy, you don't really ever see that. You'll maybe see that every once in a while. That typically means that the fantasy score is a little bit too low. I think most of the time, almost every prop is going to have like at least a 3 to 4 point difference between fantasy and PRA. Sometimes more depending on the player. Like a player like Jaren Jackson Jr. that can get a lot of blocks and steals. Sometimes his fantasy and PRA will be like 10 points difference. Obviously, Eric Gordon is not going to be a guy that gets a ton of blocks and steals, but only a 2-point difference between PRA and fantasy. I think that definitely makes this fantasy score look a little bit too low. Eric Gordon has been crushing lately. I do want to mention that a lot of these recent games, I think almost all these recent games have been without Jalen Green. Now, Jalen Green is back for today, but still without Kevin Porter Jr., Eric Gordon gets a really big bump. And you take a look at the on-off splits this season, with Kevin Porter Jr. off the floor, Eric Gordon has averaged 0.92 fantasy points per minute. So he's averaged close to a fantasy point per minute. He's been playing pretty good minutes lately. He's not a guy that's going to play like 36 minutes. He's kind of an older guy, so he's not going to play a ton. But the last few games, 34, 34.5, 33.5, 31, 30, 33, 30. He's been playing 30-plus minutes for like 9 straight games almost, 8 or 9 straight games. I don't really see anything changing today unless this game turns into a blowout or something. But Sacramento's on the second night of a back-to-back. This game's being played in Houston. Sacramento could be without De'Aaron Fox once again. We'll have to wait and see if he plays. So I think this game will be competitive. The spread is only 5.5. And in the games he's played without Kevin Porter Jr., Eric Gordon has been really good this season. He's played 11 games without Kevin Porter Jr. He's over this fantasy score line in 8 out of those 11 games. The 3 games where he went under, he had 18.4 fantasy points in 31 minutes against Charlotte. He had 17.7 in 31 minutes against Washington. And then in this same matchup against Sacramento, he did have 17.2 fantasy points in 27 minutes, in the same matchup against Sacramento. I think I actually played his fantasy score that day. I don't think I gave it out on YouTube, but I think I did play that as one of my Patreon picks. But every other game, 8 out of 11 games this season without KPJ, Eric Gordon is over this fantasy score line. If he continues to play 30-plus minutes, he's averaged around a fantasy point per minute without Kevin Porter Jr. on the floor this season. Gets the biggest bump in usage. His usage rate goes up 5.9%. His points per minute go from like 0.6 to 0.92, which is a really big bump. So he sees the biggest bump on the team in terms of usage, in terms of points per minute increase. And the minutes have been really good lately. I don't see anything changing today. I think this fantasy score line is definitely a little bit too low for Eric Gordon. So that is the first play that I do like for today. Eric Gordon to have more than 22.5 fantasy score. And then the other prop I like, a points plus assist prop, want to talk about Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's points plus assist line sits at, well, it was at 28.5. It's at 29 now. I guess we'll play it at 29. I played it at 28.5 before I started recording this video, but it's at 29 now. That's kind of annoying. What are all of his other props at? Let's see. His points plus rebounds was at 27.5. That's still at 27.5. They did add his points prop at 23.5. I kind of like both of those, points and points plus assist. I played points plus assist, but I played it at 28.5. Honestly, if I were you guys, I would probably take the points instead at 23.5. So assuming Prizepicks doesn't bump this, I do like this as well. Jordan Poole over 23.5 points. That was not available before I started recording this video. They just added that. I took his points plus assists at 28.5. It's at 29 now, but the points is still at 23.5. That's available now. So we'll play this. I'll probably put in another entry with Gordon and Poole. Gordon Fantasy and Poole points. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in now before they potentially bump this points prop. So the entry I had before was Gordon and then Poole, but again, 28.5 points plus assist. I don't want to give it out at 29 because I feel like that could end as a push. So let's do a 2-pick with Gordon and let's take Poole points. I think I'm gonna play both of these picks. I like his chances of going over both his points prop and his points plus assist. But again, this points prop, it wasn't available when I started recording this video. So we'll play that. All right, we got that entry in. Okay. So let's talk about Jordan Poole. Let's talk about his points prop of 23.5. So first off, I was looking at DK Sportsbook. I was looking at some of their lines earlier. And Jordan Poole's points prop is sitting at 23.5 on DK Sportsbook. And it's heavily juiced on the over. It's minus 140 on the over. So I'm actually surprised Prizepicks put this up at 23.5. I figured they would have put this up at like 24 or maybe even 24.5. So yeah, this points prop of Poole at 23.5, I like quite a bit. You look at Jordan Poole this season, obviously there's no Steph Curry today, and that's kind of the big news. No Steph Curry. Without Steph Curry on the floor this season, Jordan Poole has had a 34.8% usage rate, so he's had the biggest usage rate on the team per 36 in terms of points. He's averaged 28 points per 36 in the minutes that he's played without Steph Curry this season, and he's played 15 games total without Steph this season, and he scored at least 24 points in 12 out of those 15 games. There's only been 3 games this season without Steph where Poole has not scored 24 points. Against Orlando, he had 21 points in 38 minutes. Against the Pelicans, he had 20 points in 38 minutes. And then against Brooklyn, I'm pretty sure that game was like a really big blowout. He had 13 points in 26 minutes. But let's take a look at the 2 games he went under. The 2 games he went under, he shot 5 for 17 and 5 for 18. The game against Orlando, he shot 2 for 11 from 3 and 3 for 10 from 3. The game against Brooklyn, he shot 4 for 17 and 1 for 11 from 3. So the 3 games he's not had 24 points without Steph have all been poor shooting games. Every other game this season, 12 out of 15, he's had at least 24 points. So I really like this prop of 23.5 points for Poole. I'm going to play this, and I played his points plus assist at 28.5. But again, I'll mention it one more time. I just, before I started recording this video, I put that entry in, and I went to check, and now they bumped his points plus assist to 29. So while you can still get the points at 23.5, assuming this doesn't get bumped either, I like playing this instead, just because I think, Poole's going to have a really big role here without Steph. They've already said that he's going to start while Steph is out, and he's been really good in the games he's played without Steph this season. Usage has been great. Per minute production has been good as well. This is a pretty good matchup, too, against OKC. This should be a fast-paced, high-scoring game. Both these teams play fast. This game has the 3rd highest total on the slate right now, 234.5 total. It's got a 4-point spread, so this should be a competitive game as well. And again, the usage bump that Poole sees without Steph, we know he's an aggressive offensive player. He's a guy that's going to take a ton of shots. And you look, without Steph, Draymond's not a super high usage guy, not going to take a ton of shots. Kevon Looney, not a super high usage guy, not going to take a ton of shots. So it's going to be Poole, Wiggins, and Clay. When they're on the floor, those are going to be the guys taking a lot of shots for this Warriors offense. And Poole specifically, I like to go over 23.5 points today. So these are 2 picks I like. Taking a first look at the board right now, guys. Going to have a few more plays posted over on Patreon for today. As always, I will link the Patreon down in the description. You guys can check that out if you are interested. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it did help. As always, if you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. And again, if you guys are new to Prizepicks, if you have never checked out Prizepicks before, you can sign up with my promo code Noah. Prizepicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. But I wish you guys the best of luck today. Hopefully we can all win some money tonight. We can start off the week on a good note, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.